Hello, my name is Jamie Castillo, and this is my PowerPoint presentation for my professional interview with Ivan Montano. A little bit of background on Ivan. He's the aquatics director and general manager for the YMCA in Fullerton. This facility is called the Fullerton Family YMCA. He also overviews San Gabriel YMCA, which is pretty much new. He's been at this location for the last 2 years, finishing up his 2-year marker, but he's been doing aquatic staffing managing for the last 10 years. Moving on to slide 2. I had him describe to me his job position and what he does. So pretty much he manages the staff at several different locations. And this includes swim team, coaching staff, lifeguards, and then swim instructors. And swim instructors can either be private lessons, group lessons, or both. He manages the budget and the revenue, aquatics programs, and he oversees the lesson plans for swim lessons as well as swim team. And like I said earlier, he's the general manager for the Fullerton location. So once a week, all the directors have a day where they're the general manager for a shift or so. And this means that he walks around the facility making sure everybody's in the appropriate gear. They look professional, they're acting professional, and any of the safety requirements. So he'll check out the pool deck, he might check out the gym, the basketball court, and just make sure everything's in line so that there's no type of risks to the members there. I asked him what his qualifications were and what he would suggest somebody would have to be qualified for this position. For him specifically, he got his bachelor's degree in gender studies and communications. He feels that this is extremely necessary because it allows him to understand how to appropriately speak to either his staff or even members of the YMCA. He has high school coaching for swim team. He's trained and taught different lifeguarding classes, and he's trained different lifeguards for different jobs. And then he also has experience in managing a lifeguarding staff. That's what I had stated earlier. He has about 10 years under his belt. And then the way his position relates to the rest of the organization is he's just pretty much a small member of a huge group. So Fullerton Family consists of several different directors. This will be membership, sports, physical fitness, kids zone, and then aquatics. And then they also have their executive director. So they all kind of meet together and they all converse once a month and also weekly to go over budget, any type of issues, so they can work with each other that way. But then Fullerton's also part of a bigger sector, you would say, in the YMCA, which is called the YMCA of Orange County. And once a month, the aquatics directors of all the different locations get together to go over different issues that the aquatics programs are going over so they can help each other out there. He said it's a huge key component. And then currently the aquatics program at Fullerton is bringing in so much revenue that they're able to carry the other departments that are not performing as well as they would like currently, specifically sports, but we'll go into that in a different slide. Moving on to slide 3, going over the pros and cons of his position. So the most rewarding and satisfying aspects is the fact that he gets to watch the children improve. The YMCA is pretty much dedicated towards helping the youth. So being in aquatics, he watches them gain water safety skills, but not only that, he likes to watch them develop moral values. So even though he's only been there for 2 years, he has seen immense progress in a lot of the children that have been there. He said it's extremely rewarding, and that's why he likes coming to work. He enjoys working for an organization that is helping the community. For the YMCA, they have a view that no children is left behind. And so if a low-income family comes into a facility and they can't afford swim lessons or basketball team, volleyball, swim team, there's a scholarship program that helps give them financial aid so they can afford it. So he enjoys being able to help families that were in his position when he was younger. And then also he enjoys improving the aquatics program. He has seen such an immense change since he's taken the position, so he really enjoys that. And then lastly, he enjoys working with the staff. A lot of the staff at Fullerton especially for lifeguards, are consisted of high school students and newly graduated high school students. So they're very naive. They don't understand the job force as much. So he wants to mold them, and he's watching these individuals come in who don't have any experience, training them, working with them, and then they're leaving after their 2 years here or 4 years, or going on their summer break, watching them be better individuals, more professional individuals. And he said that's really exciting for him to see. On the other side, though, the negatives, it goes back into staff. He struggles with a lot of individuals who don't want to improve themselves, where they only come to work, they do their job, and they leave. But they're coming in late. They're not smiling. They're not making the environment welcoming. And he says this poor attitude and this struggle to get them to work is lowering his morale when he comes to work, because he doesn't want to have to deal with that. He wants his staff to be uplifting and excited. Going to slide 4. So I researched the different financial issues that the YMCA as a whole has gone through. Now, the YMCA is a huge organization that covers almost the entire world. It's not just here in America. It's many different places. And some of the issues, while they're not exactly at Fullerton or San Gabriel, they have taken place. And one of them was that a director was taking money and hiding the fact that he was struggling. So eventually, when taxes kind of caught up to him and the government was now investigating in this one branch, they found out that he was $1 million in debt. And because he hid it so well, he wasn't transparent with his issues, nobody was there to help him. So that's one thing. Another issue that arose is the fact that the primary funding that comes in is through donations. It's a lot for a director to go to a member and say, hey, can you donate $100? Can you donate $20? That's a lot of what the job consists of. So you do see a high turnaround rate in directors because they burn out so quickly because of that. And then another issue that was shown, again, how to deal with the money and not performing to their audits. So some facilities either never have an audit done, or they're failing their audits and then not progressing forward and correcting those issues. At Fullerton, Ivan said that if they get an audit and they fail, they have 1 week to correct it before they get, pretty much the director would get written up for not improving those issues. For Ivan specifically, when he said that what kind of issues he managed and what was going on there, so there's no huge major issues, although he did walk into the position knowing that there was issues for the aquatics department specifically. A lot of it dealt with cash flow, so understanding where the money was going and going out. The previous directors didn't really understand this idea, and so aquatics program wasn't really bringing any money in, so they were definitely being the ones carried. At that time, sports and membership were fueling the facility. Another issue, while it's not under Ivan's reign, is the sports program, like I had mentioned earlier. So the sports department, they have an indoor soccer field at Fullerton, and this indoor soccer field needs renovations. They can't have games or tournaments there because the renovations need to happen, so that way everything's safe and they can use it. But at the same time, they can't bring in money if they don't have games and tournaments. So they're seeing that there's a huge fault here. They're trying to rely on their basketball team and their volleyball team, although they're currently out of season. So it's making it really difficult for the sports program to be up to date in their cash flow and their revenue increase. So aquatics is working really hard to boost those numbers, and so some of the monies that aquatics is making is being allocated towards that indoor soccer field because that is a primary source of income for the sports department. And then Ivan continued to say that the future issues that he foresees coming into the Fullerton branch is the increase in salaries. So within the next couple of years, the salaries are going to increase, I believe, 2 more times. And he's trying to project now what the numbers for the increase in the program costs are going to be. He knows there's going to be a little bit of backlash, a little bit of pushback from the members because they're already kind of pricey as it is. So he needs to appropriately budget for them, and then also has to think about, does he need to cut some hours and some swim instructors so that way he can appropriately manage the cash flow so he's not going to be in debt later on. So he's working on that now. So when January comes around and those wages are increased, he's going to not be behind. And then so the way he works his budget specifically is every single day he comes in, he looks at his budget, he looks at his cash flow statements and his income statements, and he tries to make sure that the numbers are all matching. If the numbers seem off or there's a huge number, he investigates it. That's the first thing he's going to do, because what he likes to be able to do is if his executive director comes in, he wants to be able to relay that information to her. If the budget looks good and everything's fine, then he'll move on to the next thing. Each month, he forecasts the next month's budget. So right now we're in April. He already has May's budget pretty much set. And he does have funds allocated for emergency expenses. For example, if the part of the pool were to mess up, like the heater, we can't run the pool if the heater is broken. So by having emergency funds, the heater can be fixed quickly, so that way programs can still run. And then, so moving on, so if, let's say we get into May, which will be next week, he'll start working on the June budget. So by mid-May, he'll have the June budget already completed. And then he also stated that each year the Fullerton site gets together, all the directors meet again, and they go over the facility's yearly budget for the next year. So it's come September of 2018, they're going to plan for 2019's budget. That way each department will know what they need to work on, and each department's going to be able to function correctly, and then they'll have everything set in stone but come October. And this is just as a way of precaution. So what are they going to need to purchase in 2019? They're going to need to have that indoor soccer field, so they want to be able to look at that. This past year, they renovated the inside of the facility, so they needed to make sure that they had budgets accordingly for the renovations inside the gym. Going on to slide 5, the primary source of income. So when I did my research on this, a lot of the funds come from donations, like I had stated earlier, but the YMCA also has worked with different organizations such as AT&T and different government agencies to create scholarships for different facility sites. And this is again to help with renovations, buying new property, fixing property. And this funding, because it's primarily on donations, this does have a huge impact on the YMCA itself. It means that you can't do huge expenses. You can't just go out and make huge type of budgeting costs. You have to really evaluate what you're doing, because a lot of people are very sticky-handed with their money, so they're not going to keep giving out $100 every single month to a program that they're not seeing is improving at all. According to Ivan, though, the funding for the Fullerton site, again, is the aquatics program. They're pretty much holding up the rest of the departments, but also membership is a huge way to bring in money. So they have a gym membership, and it's about $80 a month, or you can do a family version, which is like $200 a month, and that's consistent revenue. The financial issues that he has had to deal with since the recession is pretty much just correcting the aquatics program. Like I had said earlier, the directors before him did not know how to properly understand their cash flow, so they were always below their quota, so they were never breaking even. So that, although he really wasn't in the position when the 2007 recession hit, those are the issues that he personally had to correct that he saw were problems since 2007. Going on to slide 6. So the concluding statement, the YMCA is an amazing organization that does help a lot of individuals. According to Ivan, he loves working for an organization as such. It does deal a lot with money. It's not about just handing out scholarships and being able to reach out to the community. It's about creating a funding process. It is a lot on money so that they can be able to give experiences and these memories to the children and being able to help other families. You do need to look at the cash flow. You do need to create amazing and unique ways to bring in revenue, whether it's fundraising, whether it's doing some type of raffle, increasing the population of each group, so increasing the membership or the registrations for swim lessons, private lessons, swim team, basketball, volleyball. All of it needs to be taken into account. Moving on to slide 7, going over the applications. So the way I personally want to take this, I plan on becoming an aquatics director, so this is why I really wanted to talk to him specifically. A lot of the different takeaways is that I need to understand the budget. I need to look at how I'm bringing the money in and versus how I'm taking it out and being consistent with that. Creating a standard for myself, even just in my personal life, is looking at my personal budget. So when I do get a position like this, I can do that personal budget every day and then plan for the next budget every day. And possibly, even come September, kind of just mimicking the way that Fullerton is running theirs is planning my personal budget for the year ahead. That way, when I do take on a position like this, it's going to be second nature to me. I'll know what I need to do. Of course, you'll have to adapt a little bit, but that's going to be the primary thing. And then going to slide 8, those are the references right there. I just want to say thank you so much for viewing this video and taking the time out of your day to look at the PowerPoint. I look forward to hearing all of your responses and critiques so that way I can better my presentation. Have a great day. Bye.